So the patterns and the score sheets, so in the utilities menu under the maintain pattern maneuvers, basically this gives you the ability to go through and include the classes, the pattern number, and then put in the actual maneuvers. And then this is what's going to show up on the tablet under each maneuver, and then is going to show up on your score sheets when you print them.
This was there before to run your score sheets before you even had the maneuvers going on tablets, so it's not like it was not needed.
So where is
Right.
this again?
Under utilities, maintain patterns. We are planning on beefing this screen up a little bit more to be able to do a find and to try to set up a set of maneuvers for an entire group of classes, because a lot of times you'll do one trail pattern for 4 different classes. And rather than you having to go in here and put exactly the same maneuvers in for 4 different class IDs, then you'd be able to do it all for one. So these are sorted basically by discipline and then by the approving association and the class. So if you go down to the rating, we've got the main classes are set up. Yeah, I was just going to say, let's go up to ranch riding, because yes, the ranch riding ones should be in here. Rating, there's a lot of ratings. Here's ranch riding. Okay, so, and you do have to do it per, it's basically looking it up per class code. So we have pre-built the ranch riding, the western riding ones. Obviously trail is a, ad hoc. You guys are going to make up your own along the way. Reining, ranch riding, western riding. Those are the 3 that are preset, right? And then so horsemanship, showmanship, equitation, if you're going to utilize for that, you'd have to, kind of add those in individually.
So you just go and add. And
If you don't add these, you cannot use obviously the maneuver scoring like that. Once again, it's one of those extra things you have to do, but it makes sense.
Yeah, so this is the pattern screen itself, and then again going back to the show setup is where you would input which pattern that you would utilize. So here's Western Pleasure. This is where, if this Western Pleasure, I said, I meant Western Riding, sorry. So if you know that, when you know that Senior Western Riding is going to do pattern 5, then you're going to include pattern 5 down here. And this class code 13136.200 under Western Riding is going to already be in here. This is one of the things I want to do is add a find. It's a scrollable thing, but not a find yet. I know it's in here because I put them in there. There you go. So these are every pattern 1 through 9 and every AQHA class. So if you've got your own classes, if you've got other classes that we don't have in here, that's where you would add. You're going to put in the association, whatever class code, pattern 1. So for trail, you do have to give it a number so that then you can tell the go that you're going to use pattern 1. But obviously for trail, it's it's not like a pattern number per se. So generally we, see this one already exists because we did it.
The easiest thing to do is take your pattern book from your show or your pattern for whatever class. And like the trail is usually multiple classes go on one pattern. Just write the class codes for those classes on your actual pattern so you know what it is, and put number 1, number 2, and just number them and have a pattern book for yourself so you know what it is that you've put in there. Then when you go back to your show setup, you can say, oh, this class code is pattern number 2, this class code is pattern number 3 of my trail. So
especially if you reuse them, especially if you reuse patterns a lot. And not just the specific ones that Reining, Western Riding, and Ranch Trail do, or Ranch Riding. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find that trail just so that when you and so you can include, you can create, you can edit this one if you want. Like, so this one's going to be different than the show you did last week. You can edit this one and put in the different maneuvers versus what you've got in here currently, or you can add in another one of pattern 2. And then this goes back to, if you're going to use this pattern because this one was really cool, so you're not going to use it at this show because they just did this one, but maybe a show 6 months from now that you're also helping work with, you're going to use a similar pattern or the same pattern. That way you can still have them in your system without having to build them over and over again.
And now, how do you print them?
Okay, so you don't print them from here. This is the definition of them, basically, kind of like classes or the definition of classes, right? So we have the pattern in here. Let me go to that Western Riding. You think you got any entries?
Is
Yeah.
that, which show were you doing that in?
Well, I put it in, show me the money.
Okay.
You think you got,
Yeah, so like go to the junior trail class that we've been messing with all day.
oh, okay.
And just
We
put
know
in
we
pattern
have,
one.
right. Where was that? Do you know what number that one was?
Yeah, there. Was that helpful?
There?
Yeah.
Sure. Of course it was helpful. And we had there was one in for this,
There's people in that class. Is that what you were asking?
yes, I was see if there's a 138 100 junior
Yeah,
trail.
there's
We'll find out real quickly
9
by.
people in the class.
Okay. So under the reports and the judges cards, if you go to the AQHA, and the class was 138100, and if you uncheck the basic cards, then you have all of these different score sheets that you can utilize. So this one in particular was trail, and we'll see if we only have one subsidiary, so it'll just print the one, but yep, there we go. So this one doesn't have, we must not have put obstacles in, or I'm sorry, we must not have put the maneuvers in for this one, so we're going to go back and fix that. But you can see that we did the draw, and now it's showing the list of the draws on here. If there was,
if
go ahead.
you don't want the draw,
Right, you click the blank sheets, and click it again, and now you'll get it without the draws. But again, the maneuvers would be there. So let's go put the maneuvers back in. AQ 138100.
Do you have a thing for paper?
and if you put pattern 1 and just say okay, it's going to ask you, do you want to update every pattern 1 with this pattern?
Yes.
If it's blank, say no. But if you have multiple classes that have the same pattern, you can build them all blank. And on the last one you do of the, they're all using the same pattern. On the last one you do, put in all the maneuvers, say okay. And it says, do you want to save this to all of those? Yes, you don't have to enter the maneuvers on every single class.
Good point.
So that's where it's going to say, do you want to update all pattern 1s of the same discipline? So I'm going to say no, because I don't want to change all the other ones. But I am going to go back and pull up the report.
Generic,
Report
AQHA.
oh, okay, AQHA.
And then I'm unchecking the basic cards, and I'm going to do the trail. And now I have my walk, jog, pulls, serve, back, gate, stop, and back all up there. And you'll see that it puts the show and class information at the top, the date. We actually also put that up here because sometimes these are really long. You can already see that it doesn't fill, the AQHA doesn't really give you enough room to put the information in there, even typing it in a very small font. So we've kind of been sticking it up on the top of most of the sheets so that you can kind of see it easily.
And the judges are at the bottom.
And
if you have a judge in the show.
Yeah, there is no judge here yet, but the judge's printed name would show up at the bottom once you have your judges listed in there.
So that way if they have signatures you can't read, it still prints their name on there. And
Right.
you did not have to spend time trying to figure it out.
Yes, and if we had been using the maneuver scoring for this class, after the class was over, you could click the print maneuvers from tablets box, and then it would print all of the +1s and the 0s and the 1s and the 5s and the halves and the negatives and all that kind of stuff, and the total, any OPs, that kind of thing. And then eventually it'll print the judge's signature on there, but it doesn't right now.
This is not what it's showing me here, so does that mean it's because I don't have the update yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you have to build it in your own show. Like which part is it not showing you?
This page.
Yeah, the basic cards probably doesn't even have
It's
the.
not basic cards, isn't even
Correct.
there. So
Yeah.
I just need to, when I have my update, this is what I'm going to get.
Yep. Basically.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking, I don't see it.
Well, you will. What version is that one you've got on there?
It's 8341.
Well, that's like, yes, that's an older version. So yes.
That's what like. I don't think it's because I don't have the update.
It is 100% because you don't have the update.
Yeah.
Very good.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't being completely.
Nope. Yeah, this is only in the last year that we added these in, year and a half.
So
We did
what
this
you
at
guys
your
could
world
do-
show, right?
do today or
We did this at your
whatever
world show. So it was there for a year and a half ago.
Load the new version, check out the new icons, see if you know what to do. You should be able to run fast and outs without any tablets on your own And
okay.
you can go into Horse Show for Windows, enter results, see it come up on Fast Announce. Going into Horse Show for Windows, you don't need a tablet. You can just play on your own computer just to learn some of those tools. And then slowly add in a tablet, slowly add in a remote wireless access point. Just incrementally learning it as you go. So.
Okay. Right, because that was a browser. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and on the again when it loads, the new version loads, it'll actually put these two icons on your screen, monitor and then Fast Announce. And so anytime you're on your own computer, like the computer with the main computer with the software and the database, again, as Ray said, Fast Announce just comes up because that's just looking at that. The only time you need Wi-Fi or the IP address is when you're going to use it on somebody else's computer, and that's when you need to have a Wi-Fi connected and know your IP address and that kind of thing.
So if we have a computer out with the announcer, it's there.
When you have the whole network set up, yes,
okay.
they can put. Well, they won't have this icon. You can create one for them. It's not. I think actually I think in one of the documents it tells you how to, create an icon on other screens.
Kind of like the numbers. Right?
Yeah.
That's not on every.
Right.
Okay.
So you can open it in a browser, plug in the numbers, and then there's a way to save that on the desktop or on the tablet's main screen, home screen. Heidi learned something new yesterday on her phone, that she could put websites onto her home screen on her phone. She pulled up Horse Show Tracker and she went to a browser and she typed it in. I'm like, why do you not have an icon? She's like, no, because it's a website. I go, okay. So
I was like, oh, well, that's a cool thing.
we showed her how to do it. So that was good.
Wow, that does.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty good thing. Right. So really the only other thing that we had agenda-wise, and it's not really us, it's more you guys, is if you had any, I think we've kind of hit a lot of them along the way, but if you guys had any other issues that you've had at your shows that we haven't already addressed, that either it's something that we can, be looking at for the future, or it's something that we can help you, get through now, we're happy to talk about those kinds of things if you, have anything specific that you want to.
Did you guys get what you're looking for a lot of it today? Based on what we said earlier today, the agenda was well agenda-sized.
Right. If we go back to that list here, I feel like we did a lot of, I think we did everything that's on this list, so that's a good thing. I don't know that we've taken away your pain points yet, but, hopefully we made, I will tell you that I know we gave you a lot of information, because it can look intimidating, but we've had people who literally just pull up the document and buy the equipment. Like somebody contacted me and said, yeah, I want to use tablets and tracker. And I said, great, here's a client key. Here's your, circuit key. Let me know when you're ready and we'll go through this stuff. And she ran the whole friggin' show and we never heard from her ever. And she did the whole thing. I mean, she's not overly, she's reasonably tech savvy, but she's not overly either, kind of thing. And she bought herself a router. She didn't need an access point. So she bought herself a router. She got 5 tablets. They did one arena. She pulled it all up and I kept waiting for the phone call. I actually texted her at one point. I'm like, how's it going? She's like, great. Everything's going great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, there you go. So it's not as, I think one of the documents starts out with, yes, it's not as bad as it looks, kind of thing. Because, and we sometimes go and
yeah. Because we have to look at all the pain points and all the different things that happen, and we take into account all the little avenues you have to go down. But when you're running a typical show, you never see a lot of it.
And you check to see what little kid messed with your access point overnight, or if the cables got corroded because it rained inside the indoor arena all day.
Or somebody cut through a wire,
Yes.
which we've seen that happen too. Somebody cut through a cable.
We had this year at Region 6, she's like, Mom, we are getting rained on.
Oh.
Everything was just.
Yeah, that's never a good thing either.
Well, and there was a ton of information and a ton of things. So if you get home and start looking at the agenda and think, ooh, I wonder what they said about this. I don't really remember this. Send us emails. Let us, ask questions so we can help as much as we can. Use the mobile tools. And
we're going to post the videos too on the website somewhere, so you can always go back to the video and kind of listen again. I know sometimes I talk too fast. Not me. I had a gentleman from Canada who's unfortunately since passed away, but he jabbers faster than I do, and he's always telling me to slow down. And I just think, I always find it very amusing that he's like, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. I'm like, okay, I'll slow down if you will. We'll slow down together.
You do go fast.
Yes.
We'll give you that.
I definitely go fast.
When you're comfortable with the information, it's easy to go fast.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. And so I apologize for going fast, but also we got through a lot of stuff. And if, again, as Heidi said, if at any point you need to go over it, give us a call. We'll, all of us who answer the phone can step through the stuff with you guys as well. And then once you start getting equipment, and we did touch on this barely, but on the whole horse show in a box thing, we can help you put equipment together too. We've been working with,
We're trying to get a set of recommended pieces of equipment
Right.
we can recommend and know what it's going to look like. It's hard to do because the technology keeps evolving. They try to make the boxes cheaper and cheaper. We do recommend try to spend $200 on a router. Try to get a good one for about $200. And before you do it, give us a contact. We just recommend one for Heidi.
it's on its way to her house now.
So and when it comes to the access points, the little antenna guys, we've got recommendations for those as well. And if you have a facility that doesn't have internet and you want to run your own hotspot, we have a recommendation for that as well.
We're also happy to talk to people at the facility. Not everybody, understands the right questions to ask and stuff. We just kind of ask that you do that during Monday through Friday business hours, as opposed to, Friday night before you're trying to start the show Saturday morning. And then Saturday morning, you're all going to panic because it doesn't work or whatever.
It never works when you're in a panic. It just doesn't.
I was impressed that we got Vanessa through that without any tears. I was really impressed because that was a lot because she had it all working, and then all she did was plug it into their stuff, and all of a sudden nothing worked anymore. And she was so disappointed. She was like, but we just did this, because we walked it through her earlier in the day, and then she did it again later in the evening just to refamiliarize herself with everything. And then she gets to the facility and she plugs it in, and that was the whole conflict with their router that shut the whole thing.
Something always changes. You just be aware of what the pieces or parts are used for, and once you understand how they're used, you can get around it.
that's a net gear.
This one is a Netgear. It's a 510. This is actually about at least 5 or 7 years old. So there's definitely going to be a newer one available, but it's still a very good router. We're going to go check out the POAC stuff that we bought. When did we first do tablets at the Congress? Do you remember, Michelle? 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. So we'll look and see. I don't remember telling Joyce that everything needed to be updated, but yeah. Yeah. So it may just mean the software that she meant needed to be updated and the data and everything. So we'll get that squared away with you guys too. Does anybody else have any other specific questions or needs or anything they want to cover? Any help they might be looking for, not necessarily from us, but from your fellow show secretaries? How do we do this versus how does somebody else do that? I know not everybody likes to share their tips because it makes their shows better than maybe somebody else's, but I think it also makes all of our shows better when we can help each other. Yeah, I think that's been, in my opinion, that's been a negative on the fact that AQHA is not doing the in-person show secretary seminars anymore, is because you're not getting together with those show secretaries in person.
They might do one next year.
Oh yeah, yes, Heidi's pushing for that. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get.
Might as well donate your money and watch the video, or turn the video on, I should say.
Is that all you have to do? Is just turn it on? Can they tell that you've turned it on? Probably.
But they don't tell if you're sitting there watching it.